Man, it was a wild ride, a wild journey. Because in there, I didn't know if I would be drafted to the Kings, right? Obviously, we have that was the hope, that was the goal. When I went into the qualifier, I wanted to be immediately signed with the Kings. Meeting Coach Ricky, Coach Todd, and Kevin, they had a like-minded vision, right? They knew what they wanted the team to look like, and I knew I wanted to be a part of that. Then finding out that I couldn't be drafted just to one team because we already had two amazing pre-signs in Cam Hurd and Jet Thompson. Kind of racked my brain a little bit. I talked to the team. They said, made it very clear they wanted me, but it was very hard to know if I was going to be a part of the Kings or not, right? And then you have all the other teams reaching out, Philly, Denver, Alabama, so I was worried, one, that I wouldn't make a team. That'd be an alternate. But two, that I would end up on a team with, a culture that didn't fit me. So I was very blessed to get drafted, and drafted so highly. It really, boosted the spirits and the confidence, but also added a level of pressure. Being the highest paid athlete in the draft made it where I felt like I had to perform. And then I think the moment that really showed me that this was the right team for me, I got drafted for all this money. I go out there in my very first match and I get submitted. And the first thing I tell my team is I'm sorry. And they say, you have nothing to be sorry for. And that's when I knew I was on the right team, because they didn't care. I was drafted for the most and got submitted first round. They cared. They asked me if I was okay. They asked me to, did I need anything? Did I need help? Do I need anything at all? And they gave me that feeling of like, we don't care if you win or lose. We just care that you're giving your best. And that was the moment that I knew this was my team. It took all the pressure off. There's no, they just cared for effort over outcome, and these guys are putting $1 million into a team, paying us, feeding us, and, there's this feeling sometimes of there's expectation of you have to perform, and they weren't really asking me to bring X result or Y result. They were just asking me to do my best. And that's something I can do. I can go out there and I can give my best. I can't control the outcome. I can't control if I win or lose, but I can control going out there and doing my best. And it took a lot of the pressure off, right? Because there's so many things you tell yourself in your head. You're paid the most, you have to do the best. You were, marketed X way, so now you have to perform in X way. You get paid the most, so you have to kill someone. You have to go for a choke, and to not have that pressure and just be told, go do your best, go show the gifts that God's given you, it's massive. And it took all the pressure off. And I went from talking to myself like, you gotta perform, to myself like, you just gotta go out there and do what you love, let it fly, like Coach Ricky says. Be the eagle, let it fly. And it all worked out, and it was super awesome, and even in there, I had a rough week. Week 3, my grandma passed away while I was competing, and they were there for me. They checked on me every day. They called me when I went home. They touched base with me. They asked me if I needed anything. Anything I needed, they were there for me, and that was a good feeling too, knowing that like they don't just care if I'm good at jiu-jitsu or if I put my best effort there. They want to make sure I was putting my best effort in life and making sure I was okay. You have to go win mentality is like, you got to be a world champion. You got to go out there and fight. You got to go out there and just, be a dog, and, this is what you got to do to win. This is what all the guys have to do to win. And you're told this, and they mean it. I think a lot of guys mean it in motivational. They try to think that that's the way to motivate someone, because that's how their coach motivated them to be a champion. That's how their coach did it for them, and it worked out for them. And, they felt that pressure, and it didn't crack them. Right, and it didn't really ever crack me, but it brings an extra level of weight on your shoulders that makes it feel like you're carrying something that's not necessary. And then going from that to this, like, it just feels like they're all those little things you're told from coaches or training partners of like, you got to win, you got to be a world champion. That little pressure where they're trying to motivate you, but really all they're doing is they're throwing an invisible 5-pound weight on your shoulders. And, or like, so many people talk bad about their opponents, like, man, that guy's a scrub. and then you go out there and he's a lot harder match than you expect, and it adds so much weight. And then you go out there and you don't, maybe you still beat him, but you didn't beat him the way you thought you should have, or everyone told you should have. And then that pressure gets to you and it builds and it carries to the next match. And if you throw a 5-pound weight on you every single match, you carry that. By the end of the season, you're gonna break down. You're gonna have 1,000 pounds on your shoulders, and you're not gonna perform the way you wanted. Whereas I felt like this mentality, I didn't carry any extra weight. I could just fly free, do my thing. Whether I won or I lost, I knew my team would be there for me. I knew my family's always there for me. You know, they never care if I win or lose. So it just makes it so free, where I was able to perform at a higher level than I ever have, because there's no invisible weights on my shoulder. There's nothing holding me back. There's no weird mentality. Like, everyone's out here trying their hardest. Everyone that puts themselves on the line out there is doing it for a reason. No matter if you think they're good or bad, you need to go out there and treat them like they're fighting their hardest, because they are. And that lets you fight your hardest, you know? Everyone's out here for a reason, so. There's so many things. There's so many things Coach Ricky and Coach Todd have taught me. One, how to inspire people, right? Not by putting pressure on them, telling them not to win, but inspiring them through kindness and generosity, and you know, giving them the like Coach Ricky's parables. They really, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna share that with every student, right? Of how to be what you are, letting it fly, understanding that it's okay to dominate, understanding that, you know, learning is this thing that you can do. There's no secrets, right? It's fundamentals, practice over a long time, developing each little skill, you know, showing every little thing. All of it I'm going to take home and I'm going to share. There's so many things. I'd have to write out a whole list to go down, because it's really going to change my academy, and I hope it's going to change generations to come. And really, I think the biggest thing they've done is led from the front, though, right? Ricky shows us not only how to be a good coach, but how to be a good husband, how to be a good dad, how to, you know, be a good everything, right? Like, he's leading from the front, and he shows us not by yelling at us, not by, you know, insulting us or picking on us. He's uplifting, you know, and he goes out there and he shows us how to lead from the front and be that man. He does it every single day. And that's always what I've tried to do, but he's given me the framework to, you know, level up even that much further. I'm excited to pass that framework on to all the future generations. You know, I want to touch, I've already, between me and my brother Jim, has touched thousands of lives. I can't wait to touch tens of thousands more the way that Coach Ricky's touched my life. Man, it was big. It felt, you know, and it didn't really sink in until after my last match. Like, we talked about it and we high-fived and gave a couple hugs, but going out there and doing my last match, when I stood up after I won, I was like, that was the moment. We did it. You know, it's done. You know, this regular season's over. Coach Ricky always says, don't breathe in, but it was a moment of not breathing in, but just being there, right? I felt like my wings were fully open, and I was, you know, the eagle flying off the mountain, right? Like, it was there, and it feels good because it wasn't just me, right? It was everyone on the team, but not just everyone on the team, everyone off of the team as well. The wives, you know, the spouses, the kids, even the kids there, you know, running around the mat, uplifting our spirit. You know, you lay there on the mat, you're dying, Jet's choked you 25 times, and Titus walks over and, you know, boops you on the forehead. You know, like, little things like that just made this experience, like, it didn't feel like we won, it felt like everyone won, right? You know, the training partners, the guys on the sideline helping clean the mat, the Jacobs, you know, the wives, the Lindsays, everyone out there. It was like, hey guys, we all did it. We made it happen, you know, and it felt so good because it wasn't just me. It wasn't like, I've won a lot of times and it's like, I did it. This was like, we did it, you know, and I know it's going to change everyone's life. It's going to change CJ, JJ's, Chewy's, Jet's, Cam's, like, all of this is going to help their lives, you know, just as much as it's going to help mine. And without me, we couldn't have done it, but without them, I couldn't have done it, right? This is like, we needed every single teammate out there, right? Every single person, whether it was training or cleaning the mats or helping make dinner or uplifting the spirits, like, we couldn't have done it if we took one person off the team. It wouldn't have been possible. So it was like that moment of like, truly a team moment, like, oh, we did it, guys. Man, I am more excited this than you can imagine. I really didn't know much about stem cells until I met Kevin, and then learning about them and understanding that, like, I always thought what everyone thinks, stem cells you gotta go out of the country for, and you gotta have a broken elbow, a broken hip, or broken leg, and then you go and you do it and it's supposed to help, and maybe sometimes it's good, maybe sometimes it's bad. But really what I learned, it's not just for the broken, right? It's like, yes, if your house is burning down and your car is broken and your phone's broken, you need money to fix it, right? And those are big things. But you also need money to run the light bill and the water bill. And stem cells are the money of your body, right? So like whether you have a broken hip or you just have slight chronic little pains, stem cells are the thing you need to help you, right? It's a tool that's going to help your body recover and regenerate, and it could be better preventive than it can ever be for fixing big injuries. Yeah, it can help the big injuries, but really if you fix the house, you fix the electrical problem before the house catches on fire, you saved yourself a lot. And that's what I've learned a lot. So I'm excited to get everything in order with my body and get all the little aches and pains and the little things that aren't big things that fix, so they don't turn into big things. Guys, I want to give a big thank you to Kevin, Cassandra, and Chris for the opportunities they've given us, for the team that they've built, for everything that they've done to help us make this happen. It's truly been a blessing, and it's such an honor to be a part of the team. I want to say thank you to my family for sacrificing, right? I know it's going to be a long 6 weeks, and it's been a long 6 weeks, but thank you for the sacrifice. Thank you to my beautiful fiance, Nicole, for, holding down the fort for me and loving me from afar, even when I have my good days and my bad days. And thank you for everyone out there that's been watching. It's meant so much to me, and I really appreciate all the support and the love, and I can't wait to do it again and see you guys soon.